Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's always great to have this San Diego regional meeting. I'm missing not to go there because I really enjoy being in San Diego, but I'm glad that we're able to at least connect virtually. And some of you probably have been in other regional meetings. We are really trying to connect our members in each region. Even though we're not able to meet in person, we want to make sure that we are addressing any of the challenges or any best practices or any accomplishments that you would like to kind of start sharing or hearing from other peers. So we are always happy to have these convening opportunities for all of you. I feel like even though San Diego is one of those smaller groups, we're always really great group to talk and to learn, and there's always something new going on. So we're really excited to be able to connect with all of you today, and we're hoping to have a very open conversation about how you are doing, how each of your organizations are doing, and how we can continue supporting your efforts. So thank you so much for joining us today. I think this is the general info that has been in all our webinars. I think by now you all know how to manage Zoom. But just to remind, we don't have that many slides today. It's more like a conversation moment. So I don't think we need to share the slides, but definitely you were able to mute yourself and unmute yourself if you want to talk, and put it in a speaker view if you want to just have the little box of the person as speaking. And with that, we're gonna I wanted to just go over the agenda for today. We are going to start with some introductions. We're gonna be able to have that individual introductions for each of you. So we're not gonna just put you on the spot, but we hope everybody kind of really introduce yourself to the group. We'd like to share with you a little bit about what's new at Cameo and what is coming up. And then we're gonna have a conversation about now what, right? Like COVID-19 has turned us upside down. Everybody has changed their work habits, their business model. We are seeing so many things around, so we're going to have an open conversation about what's coming next. And something I'm really excited about, like all the regional meetings, we've tried to put something fun for us to kind of follow and maybe do at your own house, at home with your family or friends. So we're gonna have like a happy hour at the end with cooking demo with Josh Korn. That is really exciting. And please do stay at the end for that conversation. So with that, I'd like to just get started with the introductions. I think everybody knows me, so I just gonna kind of tell you, I'm Carolina Martinez with Cameo. I'm kind of really working with Cameo to support our members right now. And we'd like to go with the question today as you introduce yourself about what touches your heart. It could be anything right now, be as broad as you want, but we just really want to kind of break the ice with everybody. So please go ahead. So I'll probably, if you want to stop sharing for a minute, Melissa, I'll just kind of call on you to do the introductions, and Heidi just put in there what we are asking: your name, your organization, your role, and what touches your heart. So let's get started with you. I'm just gonna go in order here, and I do have Meredith first. I don't know if you have video, Meredith.
Hi, this is Meredith Dibden Brown. I'm a finance, trade, and tourism manager with the city of San Diego, and oversee one staff person that's working on the business finance program. And what touches my heart, actually, we've been doing a lot of small business relief fund efforts, and it's really been sad but inspiring for all the business owners that are struggling, that have been so appreciative of the minuscule amounts of money we've been able to help them with. So that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And Meredith, just quickly, do you have video capabilities?
I don't at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. So welcome. It's really nice to connect with you here. So let's mix it up. About you, Heidi.
Heidi Pickman. I think I know most of you except Meredith. So Meredith and Miriam, I also don't you, and I don't know who's on 6-1 on the phone. So nice to meet you. I'm Heidi Pickman, the VP of Programs and Policy. I do a lot of the advocacy work, a lot with Robert on some of the state stuff and everybody else who has chimed in. So thank you very much. What touches my heart, I guess, is the attention. It seems like a different energy around racial justice, and it comes up to me just because I was, our CRC is doing a racial justice cohort, and I'm going to be participating, which is exciting. And we're looking to join the racial justice, small business racial justice collaborative that I know CDC, and I think, I'm not sure who else is, is anybody else on the call going to be part of that? Elizabeth, I'm not sure you are, but, it's just really exciting to see some from unfamiliar places, including the San Diego Workforce Board, who's been putting out, I get their emails, they've been putting out a lot of cool stuff on what they're working on racial justice. So I find that really, really exciting and heartening.
Thank you, Heidi. Let's continue with Juan Carlos.
Good afternoon, everybody. Juan Carlos Hernandez, California Southern. I think I've actually worked with every single one of you. What touches my heart, I think it's the ability to be able to work with all of you, as well as many of the other organizations through California, to be able to basically deploy almost $14 million in loans. So, and all of them to micro loans for small business owners.
Thank you. Yes. What about you, Suzanne?
Hey, everybody. Nice to be here. Nice to see everyone. I think I know everyone on the call, so it's just like a nice little fun gathering. Everybody knows I'm the Vice President of Sales with CDC Small Business Finance. I've been here for a long time. A lot of things touch my heart, but what I'm going to say today is what really touches my heart is when I get to talk to Miriam and she brings her little baby onto the video. And I'm like, oh, and I just want to grab her.
We have to see.
I hope you all of your hearts get touched today, and Miriam can bring Eden on because she's so cute.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. We would love to see your baby, Miriam.
She's so cute.
Bring her in at the end or whenever you guys like.
Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. What about you, Robert?
Hi there, Robert Villarreal with CDC Small Business Finance, Executive Vice President, and I do whatever Juan Carlos and Susan tell me to do. That's my role at CDC. A couple of things touch my heart. One, I agree with Heidi and all the attention that's been put on racial equity. And as a company, we're going through a DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion training. So Miriam and Susan have been part of that, and we've had really good and frank discussions because you don't know what's going to happen when you open this up. But it's been very, very positive. So I'm really proud of our organization and the staff and the feedback that they've provided. And then today, Susan will appreciate this, I got my 15-year monkey.
Oh, yay. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
What's a 15-year monkey, Robert? I have to
It's
ask.
a long story, but if you've been at CDC 15 years, you get this monkey. And the story goes back to, Kurt's been here 22 years, so it predates Kurt. Probably 25 years ago when the staff was probably 20 to 25 people, as opposed to 125 now. And to celebrate, the previous CEO took the whole team down to Tijuana to have a big party. And so there was lots of tequila involved, a lost trolley ride, and surfing monkeys. So somehow they became our.
Oh, that's so funny. No wonder
That is
Kurt
cool.
wanted to like connect with me at Burning Man, because my camp is Camp Monkey Business.
There you go.
So,
That makes all sense.
Heidi,
so
you're
that's
a
a
burner.
that's a whole different saying of monkey looking behind your back or breathing down your back.
This is a good monkey.
Thank you, Robert. Congratulations on 15 years. That's amazing. Okay, let's go with you, Miriam.
So I'm Miriam with CDC Small Business Finance as well, and I have the San Diego and North County region here with CDC as far as in helping find those small business owners that need loans from 10 to 250 through our CDFI program and our SBA program. So yeah, I self-titled myself a senior loan officer because I've been doing this for like 16 years in the finance industry, but I think technically, Susan, I'm just a loan officer, right? But yeah, so that's what I do.
You can be this. You can have the title, Miriam. You deserve it.
What touches me is really how I have through CDC and our COVID relief loans, through our PPP loans, we did thousands of just being able to, you always know that you're impacting your community, right? And through referral sources and the relationships that I make, I have plenty of people that I'm able to touch and help. But through this pandemic, I have been able to know the people that I help. So now these are friends that own businesses or friends that worked at churches, and just to be able to know, I think at a deeper level that yes, we're helping small business owners, which we know helps our local economy, but not only that, but I know that it's touching their families and their employees as well. So I feel like, just a deeper understanding and appreciation of what I already knew I was doing, just because it connects so close now, right?
Yeah.
COVID.
Thank you. And feel free to bring your baby anytime. Now we're all wanting to see.
I'll have to see what mood she's in first.
Okay. Well, let's go with you, Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. Elizabeth with Axion. There's a lot of things that touch my heart. I could say ditto to most of everything of what you guys said, but I think in this particular environment, I think the open and honest conversations have been really impactful and powerful, and even just more so important. And amongst all of the different people and players that are coming together to help our industry and small businesses just in general is pretty touching. Just to see the level of effort and teamwork within organizations, across government entities, across corporations. I think it's pretty awesome to see that. And then I think I'll give one more particular example, which has just been a really good reminder, I think, for myself and my team. We just are graduating our Axion Academy students tonight, and it's the first time that we've run this specifically in Spanish for Latinas. And we're graduating 22 of them through our 10-week academy and training program. And it's just a really good reminder. I know a lot of times we talk about scale, and scale is great in our industry, and to serve more people is great. But what also is great is the just depth of a program like this academy that is truly life-changing for people when you watch them go through this type of program, and the depth that they actually, and the level of information and education. And really, when you talk about equity, right? And you talk about the opportunity to really have that power of information and tools to really change sometimes their own futures and their families' futures, I think is really amazing. And so we're super excited to be graduating them through our program that's in partnership with Evo Longoria Foundation tonight. So
That's amazing. Really exciting. Congrats on that. Thank you. What about you, Melissa?
Hi, everybody. I'm with Cameo, my name's Melissa, and I'm the SoCal Program Manager. Something that touches my heart is just hearing everyone here and a lot of the stories I've been reading on small businesses and their resiliency. I'm sure everybody feels the same way. And my heart just goes out to small businesses right now. So yeah.
Thank you. And I think last but not least, Rosa Elena.
Thank you, Carolina. Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. I apologize, I don't have a video camera, so that's why you're not able to see me. But it's very, very nice to see you after several months behind the scenes. What touches my heart, first of all, I'm with the City of San Diego's Economic Development Department, and I'm a business development officer. What touches my heart is the resiliency of the community, of the business community in specific, seeing the effort of each business owner trying to get the business afloat, to help those that depend on the business owner for their own livelihood, and looking at the whole structure that community partners, community lending partners, and everybody being a stakeholder has established for these businesses. So it's a huge effort, and we're all part of it, being part of it, being able to serve. That's what touches my heart right now.
Thank you, Rosalina. And here is like I've gotten like at least 4 or 5 private messages right now that I miss somebody. I love this group because we're all connected here. And I'm sorry, Susan. You see, I always mess up when I have Susan Lamping and Susan Brown in the same meeting. I always somehow get it wrong. So I apologize for that.
That's okay. Yes, hi, I'm Susan Brown. I'm Vice President of Training and Capacity Building at Cameo, and I've worked with almost all of you in this room in one way or the other. And actually met many of you in the pre-COVID days, met some of you in person back in the old days. What touches my heart right now, actually, I'm going to mention something that's kind of outside our industry. I listened to a podcast. The New York Times has a podcast called The Daily. And on Monday, they had a podcast about women, white, suburban, privileged women in Ohio getting kind of woke, like waking up. And I got to tell you, it was really heartening. It was just like, okay, ladies, like, let's do it. And, and admitting, here on a national podcast, changes of heart and positions they've held historically that they feel sort of ashamed of now. And I got to tell you, it was really something. And to think that's maybe happening in communities around the United States, it was like, gives me hope. It's really lovely to hear.
Thank you, Suzanne. And I would share with you that I'm in agreement with all of you, but it really touches my heart the resiliency level that we all can have. Like starting with our kids, just seeing how they've been flexible enough to start and just change daily and have a whole new reality and continuing with the lucky ones that can continue, right? Like, obviously, I don't want to get into those that are separated, but that really kind of gets really close to my heart. But also to see all the small businesses to keep working and thinking about how to restart their business, how to shift their model, and all the support of all of you to really make that reality happening, and just kind of being flexible enough and resilient to kind of rethink what you're doing, how you're doing it, and get back out. I think that really gets and touches my heart enormously. And it makes me really happy to be able to work with such an amazing group of people all the time. Like everybody we meet, everybody's doing such a great job and are so committed to help the communities get through these times that it really, really is an honor to be able to work with all of you. So thank you so much for all of that, all the work you do every day, and for being here with us. we're really excited to be able to provide support to the work that you're doing every day with the small businesses. So thank you for sharing all of this. We wanted to kind of have a little, and I think we had a slide for this, Melissa, for I just wanted to kind of remind everybody about the work that we've been putting together with pre and during COVID. And it's been, you all know what Cameo has been doing, and you have been participating in a lot of our programs during these months and previously. But we wanted to just share with you that this is kind of like 3 Cameo programs we've been putting together. This does not mean that is all we're doing. There is a lot of the advocacy efforts that we've been putting together, and we continue to offer and speak up on behalf of our network and the small businesses. And we also are kind of an info hub. We have so many resources in our website for all of you to use. That is that those are the other 2 areas that Cameo has been focusing. But because of COVID, we've been really putting a lot of effort into these 3 programs, into how can we really support the nascent lenders and the more established ones that are getting new staff into their payroll and that need to train them. How can we really support all of your efforts to have consultants, loan officers, staff to be ready to serve these small businesses with an ever-changing perspective, like range of programs, regionally, statewide, and national, also at the federal level. So we are really putting together a lot of programs virtually, obviously, for them to kind of connect and learn about what is going on around and how they could be better prepared to serve the current needs of the small businesses, and definitely the fostering of ecosystems. This is something we are very focused on. How can we really continue supporting all these partnerships, all these convenience like this one, and by affinity groups like the lenders, the TA providers, by region. We're really constantly working a lot with our members to really provide those spaces for them to connect between each other and to really create those referral systems or those partnership opportunities that might really work better and support the needs of our industry, especially right now that we have such a high demand and everything is virtually. So we are just providing so many more services as an industry in a new environment and new platforms. And we are really committed from Cameo to support those efforts to train your staff and to support your organizations as a whole to continue operations. So there are so many more activities. We've picked your brain during this year a lot of times. We've put together a lot of listening sessions to really hear what your needs are. And we hope we've been responsive, and the programs that we've been putting together have been helpful so far. But we just wanted to kind of bring it to everybody's attention that this is something that is continued to happen, and we would love to continue having your feedback. If you see any topics that we are not currently offering that we should be, or if there is any opportunities that we should be focusing on. I do feel from Cameo that is really exciting to be able to connect with so many. Oh, everybody's saying hi. I think I'm not seeing why. Oh, I do see that.
No one's paying attention to you anymore, Carolina.
Oh my goodness. This is so cute. Oh, that is cute.
That's right.
How old
That's
is
so
she now,
cute.
Miriam? Is she like a little over 1?
Oh, you're muted,
mute.
You're on
Miriam.
mute. I recall you and Valerie had your babies like similar time frame.
It's 14 months.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Valerie's baby Luce always pops onto our Zooms too. It's so cute.
She's so cute. Congratulations.
Aw,
She's gonna say hi.
precious.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. I didn't hear you. Can you repeat it, Miriam?
Now I'm gonna take her away. Uh-oh.
She's like, that's enough for showing me off.
Okay,
So,
Mama.
yeah, so just wanted to kind of, I think what I was saying is that I really wanted to thank everybody, and we're really happy to be able to participate in different coalitions and different convenings and in different groups that are really kind of connecting all the efforts into one, which is really kind of just very powerful, and really helping us have a bigger impact with the communities we serve. So with that, I think I'll just turn it over to you, Heidi, to go over our next programs. And yeah, take it away.
Sure. With that, as you can see, to put some more specifics on what Carolina said, this Thursday, we actually have our Entrepreneurship Advantage, which is our LA collaborative that's meeting monthly in a virtual way. We've done panels. We've talked about discrimination in lending that's happened in LA. We've talked about serving women. We're going to talk about cybersecurity on Thursday. So, if anybody would like to join us, you're more than welcome to join us. It's we're just trying to have a constant presence in LA, and to try and mobilize some of those members, because they're hard. Sometimes it's hard to reach in LA. Micro Lending Essentials is another one of our classes in the CDFI incubator that Susan leads. I know a lot of you have sent staff. I think Elizabeth, one of your staff might even be signed up for this one. It's been
Elizabeth and Juan Carlos are devoted guest speakers. Thank you very much for giving us your expertise. It makes all the difference.
That's CDFI Essentials, I think. This is
wrong program.
Wrong program. That's happening too, but that's already closed. This class, we've gone online and it's been selling out like hotcakes. We have a waiting list before we even advertise it. So, which is really kind of exciting. It's something Susan developed and is gaining Cameo some national recognition, which is really interesting. Then we have the California Rebuilding Fund, Train the Trainer on November 2nd. On November 12th. It's going to be the third Train the Trainer. We had our second one yesterday. We came up with a good list of topics. We're going to do a live demo, applications, and talk about revenues and profitability. So we're really trying to respond to what the application is that I know a lot of you guys are involved with, as well as what the needs are, what we think that the TA providers might have. So if you know of any of your colleagues that you might want to send this to that might not know about it, please send any of the partners you're working with, please send it their way. We just this morning didn't have time to put on the slide, scheduled December 4th, the last one, which we'll talk about credit and debt ratios. And then, so thanks all of you for participating in the California Rebuilding Fund. Rosalena and Meredith, we'd love if you guys help use the city's megaphone to advertise it. So stay tuned, and we'll be sending you some materials to promote that. Have you heard about the California Rebuilding Fund, Meredith and Rosalena? It's
only from the email that came out and the overview that you provided yesterday. So
okay.
That was really helpful.
So yeah, so it's you can go to California Rebuilding Fund, CA rebuildingfund.org.
CA Loan Fund.
CALoanfund.org. Find out a little bit more about it, but it's a kind of it's this amazing collaboration between so many different lenders and private people and nonprofits and government. And basically it's a loan fund for small businesses trying to get it out. And it's the CDFIs are participating. So we'd love if you guys could help spread the word. And if you want to help people get ready for it, Train the Trainers are for you. Then we're also doing some work with the FDCs, the State Loan Guarantee Program, that's also tied up in the State Loan Guarantee Program, is also participating in the state loan in this California Rebuilding Fund. So this is mostly for lenders. We're gonna be talking about how to manage risk and do some speed dating with the FDCs. So yeah, so as you can see, Cameo's got a lot going on. You guys have all been Cameo, most of you have been longtime Cameo members, and we probably are doing more in the next 3 weeks than we've done in the past. And the activity at Cameo has really stepped up a notch. So yeah, with that, I think we can stop sharing our screen. We're gonna start to open a conversation, but I want to start.
And, Heidi, I'm sorry. Before you get going with that, is Melissa has been putting all the links on the chat for the events that Heidi mentioned. I know you're receiving, probably all of you have been receiving the newsletter, but feel free to reach out if you have questions or thoughts about any of them, or if you want to learn a little bit more, like a little deeper dive into any of those topics, feel free to reach out.
And, yeah, and we'll send them again in a follow-up email. So we're going to talk about COVID, but before Robert has to go, so before we did, something caught my eye that he said, about their DEI training that they're doing at CDC, because that's something that Cameo's looking at. It's something that's super topical on another note, and I know it has to do with what you got. Your all next steps are at CDC. So I asked him if he would just talk a little bit about it, because basically selfish reasons I'm interested, but I know other Cameo staff might be interested as well, and I figured hopefully you all are too. So
sure, I'll be brief, but thank you for that, Heidi. And just one thing I'll mention, if we don't get it, we can follow up. One of our partners in Washington, DC, WACF, the Washington Area Community Investment Fund, I think, they have a business resiliency center, which is a really cool concept. It's obviously virtual that they're setting up. So as I learn more about it, I will share it, particularly with Cameo, because I think it's something that'd be very appropriate for Cameo to set at a statewide level versus one of us doing it for, in Southern California or Northern California. So as I find out more about it and build that partnership, I'll let you know. So our DEI came about, obviously, with everything that was going on, but our CEO, Kurt Chilcott, sent out a Juneteenth message, and everybody was still a little raw. This was, not very far off from the death of Mr. Floyd, or the murder of Mr. Floyd. So there was a response, particularly from the African-American employees at CDC. So that really started a conversation that some of us in the executive team had with those individuals who sent that email. And it was good. It was very raw. And we already were going down this route, but it just really sped up the hiring of DEI consultants, which I think we've got for a year or two, because this is a process not done overnight. So there was a committee primarily of those individuals who responded to Kurt's Juneteenth message. It was a positive message, in case everybody's think it was controversial. And we had a number of meetings with them, and then we hired the consultants and brought in the next level of managers, which included Susan and some others, and had a conversation with that and breakout sessions. And then just last Thursday, was it Susan and Miriam? I think it was last Thursday. We had a company-wide meeting to discuss these issues. And, we have about 120 employees, and I think the highest number I saw was 93 people on there, maybe 95. And you can't force people down this path. It's people have to volunteer for it. But as Kurt says, it's a path that we are on as an organization, and it's a path that everybody's on at their own pace. So we have to be respectful and mindful of that. Some people are far ahead, are ahead of others in terms of understanding race and dealing with that. Others, it's a very they're at a different starting place, much like Susan Brown mentioned with these women being woke. It's a process. So they shared with us a number of materials, both. I don't think there was one material to read about white fragility, but the other ones are videos that we had a chance to to see it. Everything from a 3-minute video to a 18-minute video that we saw that talked about racial equity and everything that was going on. So again, it's something that we've invested in. It's something we're going to be doing for a number of years. And we've already started to identify as what does a CDC look like? What do we look like once when we have kind of broken the barriers and we're all about racial equity? What does that look like as a company? So that's what we're starting to define and move forward with that. So I'll stop there and ask if there's any questions, or if Susan or Miriam have anything to add to that.
Susan?
I would be just really interested in what, like if you can share with the group any materials that you've used. I at Acción, there's a few of us who are going through a program that the Fieldstone Foundation here locally in San Diego is offering in conjunction with another partner, that's called the Equity Journey. And I can't say enough about it. It's a 4-month process, but it's a self-guided journey, but you have monthly gatherings where you actually, after you go through the self-guided portions of the modules, which consist of readings and testings and also videos and different things like that, you convene with breakout groups, and there's 200 nonprofit leaders in San Diego going through it through Fieldstone Foundation. And it's been pretty incredible. It's been an awesome process, and they're going to offer it again in the springtime. And so I did similar things to what CDC mentioned. I put it out there to all of my staff. So some of us are going through it right now, and then I'll put it out again when they offer it the second time around. And then there's been some interesting ones that have been coming through Workforce Partnership and Fieldstone and a couple of other people here locally in San Diego that have been kind of one-offs. But I really like the journey and like the segmentation of multiple kind of self-guided, because I think it's pretty powerful to work through on your own and then come together and convene for like more discussions.
That sounds like a really great way to go. And Robert, what are like, so that's like the structure. Is there anything you can tell us about like the content? Like, is it history? Is it readings? Are you discussing, like, what do you?
We shared, and Heidi, I'll share them with you. It was I think 3 videos and like a synopsis of the white fragility. I think it was like 18 pages of it. Mm-hmm. But it's really more about discussions and breaking us into smaller groups with some teed up questions, but to have very frank and very candid conversations. That's what we're doing right now, and it's just the ability to share everybody's what they're feeling and where they are individually in the process. And I had a breakout group where everybody was almost on the same page, but at our all staff meeting, somebody very bravely stood up virtually and said something that had occurred to her within our company. And it was brave of her, but it was a really good conversation. And she couched it in, this happened to me here. How do I deal with it? And how do I approach it with individuals who, say something that I don't agree with and that offends me? So, I mean, those are the kinds of conversations that we're having. So I think a lot of it is about conversation, and it's not so much about trying to shove education down folks. It's, again, as Kurt has laid it out and our consultants have laid it out, it really is a process. And as as Elizabeth said, everybody's moving at their own pace. Yeah.
I would just add to that, Robert, I totally agree with everything you said. And I think it's about hearing everyone's perspective so that you understand the perspective that the other person is coming from. And I can't remember, Robert, if this was shared in the larger group but anyways, one manager shared with a small group of us after getting permission from the person who shared this story, that this manager was in a small breakout group with this other person who was an African-American woman. And she had shared that when we have our CDC parties before COVID, and we would have a big annual event, and it would be a big bash, and it's at a restaurant and bar, and everyone's doing activities and staying up late and having, you know, fun. This woman and her husband, both African-American, would check the time and make sure they left early enough so that there wouldn't be any problems while they were driving home. Like they were afraid maybe they'd get pulled over by a cop because they were driving home, you know, at 11:30 at night or something. And just hearing that story, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, that's so not anything that I would ever think about in my life. And so I feel like the stories that we hear are, you know, give us a perspective into someone else's life and change us. You know, now honestly, like after hearing that story, I think about it, you know, I think, or like one African-American woman shared when she walks into a room of people, like a business room, she looks for other African-American people to find someone that she feels like is going to listen to her, because she thinks maybe people who aren't African-American won't listen to her or won't treat her as seriously. And it's like, wow, you know, that's not even a perspective that would ever occur to me. So I think that now, like I see, you know, an African-American person and I think, oh, I wonder if they're thinking that I'm not going to listen to them, you know? And so then I put out more effort, you know, like I want to listen to you. So anyways, yeah, I think it's like getting that perspective.
Anybody else want to say anything on what they're doing at their orgs? I think Elizabeth, CDC, is the city, are you guys in touch with the workforce for Meredith? You're at the One Stop, but the San Diego workforce, I don't know, I've been getting their emails.
I was about to say, I think you might have me mixed up with someone else, because I would not have been sending emails.
No, you're not sending emails, but are you connected to the San Diego Workforce Partnership, I think it's called? I can send you.
Yeah, so our city, our department provides funding to them, and it's been like tech hires, connect to careers, but that kind of funding most recently to support those programming efforts.
Mm-hmm.
So Heidi, I have a question that Catalina and another committee that her and I both sit on made the statement that Mr. Trump had made an executive order regarding this, and I Googled it and I saw it, but where is that? And does that have any legs, or has it been enforced? Is it being enforced?
It's got, well, there's two things. So Cameo has a letter that they're sending out this week. We've gathered some signatures. If you'd like, I mean, we're sending on the behalf of Cameo. I'm happy to send you the letter. I sent it out in last week's Must Know, and we just didn't have time for a big old advocacy push, so we were passive about it. But so there's two things. So the executive order means you can't use, if you get federal funding, have any federal contracts at all or grants, you cannot use any money to do DEI work. So that means SBA, SBA loans. It means it's for contracts signed after November 22nd. So and it will be applicable possibly to other contracts that you might have had going on. So if you signed all your contracts for a year, you're probably good. On the 22nd, which somebody helped me last Thursday, they opened a complaint portal for this, so that people could tell on their employers, which is really egregious. The U.S. Chamber has come out against it and had a whole bunch of people sign on to the U.S. Chamber letters. There's quite a few people. This is not something that most people want to happen, and most people include, other powers that be in the corporate world. One of our strategies is, and what we're asking for in the letter, is that Congress doesn't fund it. so it can't go into effect. And it needs some guidance, what have you, from I can't remember the name. It's the Office of I can't remember what it is, but it's kind of like the protocol office that tells you how to do it. And all the agencies are kind of waiting. So right now until November 22nd, it's nothing, you don't have to do it, but if you sign a contract after that, yes, and people can tell on you, and then you can, you can get fined. We are taking a stand now so that we can say, hey, this is pretty important for if either Congress, November 22nd, should withdraw funds and not fund it, or if there's a change in the administration, should be the executive only can override with an executive order, do this, void the executive order. So
keep us up to date, and we're happy to sign on. Thank you.
Yeah, great. I will send you the letter. Just so you have it. Anyway, so great. Thank you everybody for your sharing what you're doing around DEI. I think it's kind of important. We've had these twin crises going on between what's happening in our country as far as racial justice, and also obviously the pandemic. So we'll switch gears now, if that's okay. But before we switch gears, we have Emily joined us. And so did Josh Korn, but he's a little early, so I think he just.
Hi, everybody.
Emily, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Yeah, there might be a couple people on the call.
Would that be helpful? I'm sorry. I'm the VP of Strategic Initiatives and Operations at Cameo, and I'm happy to be here. Sorry, I'm joining a little bit later, and I have to hop off a little later for another meeting, but just wanted to briefly say hello to everyone, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks. So do you know Rosa Elena from City of San Diego, Meredith from City of San Diego, and I think that's it. Robert just dropped off. Yeah, so, and Miriam's from CDC. So
hello.
I'm sure you don't know Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Hi, Elizabeth.
And Juan Carlos. I know you.
Yes. Hi, Juan Carlos. And Robert. Good to see some familiar faces and meet new people. So.
Yeah.
So let's turn to COVID and talk about, this is something Cameo's interested because we're trying to compile some numbers and trying to get an idea of what the changes in your services have been, pre-COVID and COVID. We've got Juan Carlos, I already have your numbers, so I'm gonna skip you on that. Meredith, you wanna, or Rosa Elena, you wanna talk a little bit about what happened with your loan fund? I remember Rosa Elena said we got 5,000 applications.
So this is Meredith. So the city actually launched a small business relief fund effort utilizing some CDBG funds, some other funding that we'd had remaining from when we had an enterprise zone program that had generated voucher income. And then we had our existing revolving loan fund from the EDA. And so applications for those funding sources combined topped more than 10,000 applications over the course of, I think we had 5,000 in the first weekend alone, and then another 5,000 trickled in probably over the next few weeks. So the CDBG was used for some forgivable loans. The old enterprise zone funds was used for outright grants to small businesses. The RLF, we couldn't obviously grant or make forgivable loans, but we did do a series of small loans. We got waivers from the EDA. So it's 0 interest, 6 months, no payments, and longer repayment terms for $10,000 to $20,000 loans. And so we ended up funding 112 loans. We have a little bit of funding left, but it just about wiped out the capital base that we had available for that. And then we've just received additional allocation from the EDA through a non-competitive grant application for another 1.6 million. That's CARES Act funding. and that'll be for businesses, not for micro and emergency relief, but really for businesses looking to transition or make adaptations in their business model to cope with the pandemic. So we're looking at potentially making loans up to 100,000, just under 100,000, but probably more around the smaller range to 50,000. And for businesses that might be software, it might be store layout reconfiguration to enable that safe social distancing, it might be ordering systems, order fulfillment, any of those kinds of activities or combination of those that would assist them in operating more successfully under the constraints of the pandemic. So we are in the process of just getting that set up administration-wise, and we'll be rolling that out in November.
Congratulations on getting all that funding. How many loans did you say you've made at first? Was it 112 or 120? I couldn't remember.
112.
112, okay. Thanks. What about you, Elizabeth?
I am in mute. So we're in the process of still dispersing a bunch of different COVID-related programs that we have going on. I think we're close to almost 4.5 to 5 million, and we've got a lot more in the pipeline. We are administering our own loan fund. We've done almost 3 million in our own loan fund. Well, actually 2 million in our own loan fund of a 3.99% product. And then we're administering the County of San Diego's 1% loan product. And so we have about 2 million almost on the streets with that. And we have another 3 million to go, which we have a pipeline that's really, really large. Our underwriters are very, very busy right now. We got about 200 applications in a day, about a week and a half ago. So we've been trying to keep Juan Carlos busy with routing loans now through that. And we are anticipating some grant award funding hopefully pretty soon to do another 1.5 million in loans. And then we're also planning to do with a COVID related product. And then we're anticipating participation in the statewide program. We are obviously gonna route borrowers through whatever product best suits them and is most beneficial, because the statewide program is a little bit higher interest than some of the other products that we're administering right now. So if they come through the state program and they meet criteria of our other products that are lower interest and better terms for the borrower, we're going to route them through that first to deploy that funding. But I would anticipate by the end of this year, our portfolio will have gone from probably about 7.5 million to close to 13.5 million, maybe, depending on how the next couple of weeks goes. And then, so I think, initially for us, it was something that we were focused on our current borrowers initially, like everybody, making sure that we could restructure them and defer payments. And we're doing a second round of deferrals, or actually I should say restructures right now with our clients. And so it's being done case by case though. And we haven't seen as much amount of request as we did in the first round of restructure and deferrals that we did in March and April. But I would say we are seeing some of those, and we're doing kind of a percentage of their monthly payment instead of interest only payments, which is what we did initially. And we're working with guarantee partners on obviously getting those approved if they're in the guaranteed portfolio. So a lot of different things going on. And I think this is going to continue. And we are still seeing some regular loan volume, surprisingly. We, have a good amount of regular loans still in our pipeline. So we're doing all of those different things at once. And, the team's going to continue to work hard from here until the holidays on deploying all of that.
It hasn't been a slow year for us, huh?
Congrats on all those products. It's great to hear like so many things going on, and it's really good to hear about the grants that you're anticipating besides the statewide product. That's really exciting.
Yeah, we have our fingers crossed.
Elizabeth, your portfolio, when you say your portfolio, like it was 7.5, was that what it was last year? Like it was
So yeah, basically like before COVID hit, it had dropped a little bit actually, because we had some payoffs and things. And so it was at like, I think right around 7.5 to 8 million. And I think if our team deploys what we're hoping to deploy between now and the end of the year, barring any unexpected payoffs, I think our portfolio will hover between probably around the 13 million mark or so. I don't know.
And is the 7.5, is that sort of like a regular growth, like what was your growth rate before, I guess is a good.
It's varied from year to year. I'd have to look at the actual portfolio, but we've had pretty steady portfolio growth. I mean, each year has depended. Some years we've had much larger portfolio growth, and other years it's been kind of just steady growth. But obviously this would be a lot of growth. The thing that's changed as an organization is obviously your interest yield is going down, because as an organization, you're deploying low cost capital, right? So some of that is being offset by grant funding right now. And so, that's what we're focused on, is trying to figure out what the market demands are going to be in the future and, managing that as we move forward as an organization.
And then
I'm kind of curious. Can I ask a question, Heidi? Are you that 100, Dan, Moret said, or I think 100 applications a minute or whatever in New York. How are you feeling about that program and your ability to like respond to this? It just sounds like there could be, especially if it's coupled with a announcement by the governor. I'm just sort of wondering how you feel about what might happen.
Yeah, I really don't know, because I mean, I think there's a little bit of a difference, between when Chicago and New York launched theirs and the marketplace at that time versus what we're in right now. And so I think that there's probably going to be demand, but I don't know that it maybe is going to be what they experience, just given the timing of the marketplace and the different products that are out there right now. But I think nobody knows until we actually launch it. For us, we've got some other programs going on, so we're going to try and get deployment of that capital out first, because those are better terms for the borrowers than the 4.25% product. But we're still working on the legal documentation for the state program. So I'm not sure as of today, I missed the state call, but Susan, you probably know what the update is as of today.
Yeah, today they said tentatively Friday, but we haven't heard anything from the governor's office. So, I mean, that's just them speculating.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's not Friday.
Well, I think I've heard from several people confidentially that might be Friday.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
yeah.
I would get ready. And so everybody, for Rosalina, Miriam, we're talking about the statewide program, the Rebuilding Fund. That's what Susan was asking, and that's what we are discussing, that potentially could launch at the end of the week.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really crazy, actually. We work with the SBA's lender match system. So that's on the SBA site. There's this matching portal that matches borrowers with lenders, and we get almost 100 matches a day.
Wow.
A day, I know. And we email them, and then just a handful respond. So we don't actually work with them all. A lot of them just never respond. But I mean, and that's in 3 states. So yeah, I think it's going to be crazy. What we've done, Elizabeth, just so you know, is we narrowed our parameters to control our volume.
Yeah.
So, we increased the loan amount and decreased.
So what did you do? How did you narrow those, Susan? I'm just kind of curious.
Through the Connect to Capital system.
Right, but what did you narrow?
So we redlined some industries. We got we got rid of some industries that we wouldn't work with. We put a lower limit of the loan of $50,000. So we won't do the small loans. So Axion can do the small loans and we'll do the larger ones. We put, more stringent criteria around credit, no bankruptcies.
Got it.
Just different things like that.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We right now are still working through the legal documents. So, I mean, it obviously has to come to fruition for the legal documents to be signed for us to have our live product on. So I'm going back and forth on a couple of things in the next day or two. So we have to get through that obviously before we can have our product live.
The good thing is you can turn the switch on and off. So if we get, 500 matches in one day, we're going to turn the switch off and deal with those people. It's just too much.
I think one of the challenges is going to be just the customer experience, like depending upon how much publicity this gets, like there could be some really frustrated, customers, depending upon the volume and just how quickly people can work through those. But I think that's the inherent nature of doing things like this. And obviously each of us is going to do, our best to work for the best customer experience as possible, but it can be challenging when you've got a really large pipeline.
Elizabeth, are you guys going to collect personal tax returns or just the business? Because according to the fund, we really kind of only have to collect the business and don't have to spread them globally.
I have to look because Valerie and Robert have been working on our criteria to finalize it. So I actually don't know. That's a good question for them.
Because I haven't really decided what we should do. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, a little detail. We sidetracked.
No, I'm actually happy you're talking about this because I've been, I'm going to bring this up on Thursday that I don't know how to interpret some of the eligibility criteria based on my understanding of at least how microloans are underwritten. So I was going to ask a few questions of you guys on Thursday and sort of see how you're interpreting some of that credit criteria, just so that, because we're training the coaching organizations, and I want to try to give them some guidelines about how the CDCs see that, especially that debt to income ratio. I just kind of want to talk to you guys about that.
Yeah, it's a funny calculation, right?
Yeah.
It's something that I've never really seen, but if you kind of break it down, it sort of makes sense. It's basically saying we don't want the business to be too leveraged. Is kind of
I'm just wondering what you're counting as business debt versus personal debt. So that's, like I have 2 credit cards. One I've just decided is business, but they're basically both personal credit cards. So I'm just kind of wondering how you guys will interpret that business debt part. That's what was my question. And we don't have to talk about it today, but I want to try to people see that.
Well, maybe if there's time, we can talk about it. I mean, we're here to talk about whatever you guys also want to talk about. So Susan, can you just give us a sketch on what happened to your activity pre versus post COVID?
This Susan?
Yeah, sorry, Susan.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so let's see, pre-COVID, I mean, we were, we always slow down in December and January, and then February, March, April, we generally start ramping up. And so we had a really good February in terms of deals that were brought into the system, and we were ramping up. And then March, when COVID hit, we basically shut down our operations and went all hands on deck with PPP. And so, and we were, all hands on deck for PPP for about 3 months. And then we brought in the state microloan program, the COVID microloan program that the state guaranteed. The one that I think, that's the same thing that I think, Elizabeth, you guys are doing now, right? Yeah. Was it 1% or was it, now I'm forgetting, was it a 1% loan? Or was it a?
What we're doing right now is administering the county program, which is a 1% loan.
Okay. I've looked at so many different loan programs, I can't remember, but it was a very favorable rate. It might have been 4.25 actually. I just can't remember. But anyways, it was loans up to 50,000. The eligibility criteria was really easy. We didn't spread the deal. We basically just looked at, it's kind of like the California rebuilding loan. I mean, we wanted to see that they had a profit in 2019, that their bank statement showed some level of ending cash balances enough to service the debt. And so we did those, and we did about $3 million worth of that. So divided by probably an average loan of about 40,000, you can do the numbers. It's like, I don't know, 50 loans, something like that. So we did that, and that money just went fast. I mean, there was a giant need. We had more people that wanted that loan than we had funds for it. So we did that, and then we tightened up our criteria. So, we used to, we tightened it up quite a lot when we reopened after PPP in June. Our credit limit had been 640. Now we brought it up to 680. So that's almost like bank financing. We wanted to lend to businesses that had been solvent in 2019 and that took a hit because of COVID. We weren't looking to lend to businesses who were were ramping up in 2019, right? So we started to get stronger applicants. We were getting like dentists and professionals that generally don't come to us. Those are usually served by banks, but the banks weren't lending. So those people were coming to us looking for working capital. I mean, really almost across the board, everyone needed working capital early on, like June, July, August. And so we did, we had decent volume, I'm not going to say it was probably about, I don't know, it was a little lower than usual. And I'm going to say that's because we tightened our criteria up so much that we were trying to lend to people that we felt like were going to stay in business, because we have to manage need and risk, and our risk at the same time. And now what we're seeing is a lot of startup requests, a lot. Sometimes it seems like these people lost their jobs, and so now they're trying to create an income source for themselves. We would normally see about 50% of our requests are startups, and now we're seeing, well over that, maybe 65% or more are startup loans. And most of them were declining realistically, because a lot of these people just aren't in a position to be starting a business, or it's just not the right, not the right conditions to start the business. But we're full steam ahead. We're lending, doing our regular lending, and we're getting, just today, Miriam and I, she had like 5 deals, that I looked at with her. So she's bringing deals in, and we're getting plenty of loan requests. And I don't know, Miriam, if you're on right now, but if you have anything else to add around the kind of deals you're seeing, or, anything that's kind of different than usual in this post-COVID environment in terms of on the front end, other than the fact that you're doing outreach like from your home, which is crazy. But you're on mute.
I think that you definitely kind of hit what I'm seeing, like definitely when March started, when COVID really, changed everything for small business owners. Yeah, there was like a gross amount of applications. Like, I don't know, what did we have, Susan? Like 700 plus applications online. I personally, through my referral sources, probably had at least 200 applications just myself. I don't know about the other people on our team, but there's 8 of us. And so, yeah, it was very hectic, and it's only for working capital needs. So I still have quite a bit of working capital needs, but I think, Susan, your ratios are about right. I probably have like 50 to 60% startup loans that are being requested. I fortunately, though, because my referrals come from, banks, I do have some loans that have been funded for startups, and I have really good ones that we looked at today. So I do have, I think, a little bit of a stronger pipeline. I think for our LOs that get the other leads that you were talking about, Susan, for this new program. Those are people that maybe haven't had conversations or just kind of going via online, just applying online. Those leads are probably people that just lost their job and want to start a business. I'm actually getting more of people that always were kind of like saving but weren't like ready to go for it per se to start a business. But I'm getting people that have plenty of money saved that still have, you know, a spouse or them working and they want to kind of go for it now as far as in starting a business. But definitely it seems like they're much more willing, and I don't know if it's because there has been so much assistance and help for small business owners that maybe they're feeling, well, maybe it is a good time to do this now. But I have good advocates for startups, so that makes me happy too. That you know, I'm feeling you know 70-80% you know confidence that those could be funded loans as well.
Yeah, we are funding startups. I mean, as risky as they can be, we get some that are good, and we are getting them through.
So the leads, that's interesting. The leads that you're getting, where are you getting most of your leads? Is it from the SBA Lender Match or just general people searching?
I mean, we get them from a lot of different places. So we have 2 loan officers that are, we call them internal loan officers, even though everyone's internal now. And those folks, those 2 receive leads from our online acquisition channels. So that's Lender Match, that's our website. There's various ways that prospects can interact with us through our website. So they all come through that. And then we have 6 loan officers like Miriam that is an external loan officer that sources their own deals. And so Miriam and that team bring deals in through banks, the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, you know, different referral partners out there.
Right.
Acción.
So I'm just,
Heidi, you're unmuted.
You muted yourself.
oops, sorry. What kind of industries are you working? You said, you know, are you seeing come in? If they're startups, what kind of startups? Are they e-commerce startups? Like what are, you know, or if they're not on, if the 2 questions, if the online, like what are you doing with the declines on the online applications? And I'd like to ask also Rosa Elena to chime in afterwards. What do you do with the declines? Like it seems like if you're getting 100 applicants a day, you're obviously only accepting 10% of those. So where do they go?
Well, I mean, a lot of them don't even respond to us reaching out to them. So some of them just, you know, fall off of the face of the earth on their own. You know, some we refer to different partners. I mean, we make a lot of referrals to Acción, but we also don't want to just dump our declines onto someone else who might not be able to do the deal. Sometimes we'll send them to the Small Business Development Center. There's a very good, I don't even know who put it together, California resource guide that I shared with my team, and they'll use that. They'll send that out. I'll put the link in the chat box.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
And it's basically loans and grants all over California.
I kind of want to say Glenda Humiston, but that was like months, that was years ago that she did that. She did an access to capital thing.
No, this is something that's new.
I think it's the same group that's working on the California Rebuilding Fund. It's the case group that put the resource guide together.
Okay. Well,
but it's not online yet, is it? I thought it was like a PDF or something.
Here it is. Well, it's online and you can download it as a PDF.
Yeah, it's this. I think it's the same exact one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah,
that's the case group that started working on this California Rebuilding Fund.
Okay.
I believe, you know, with my job that I need to be, you know, connected to the community. And so I never like to just decline someone and just send them nowhere. So anytime that I decline someone, I definitely connect them with Acción if that's a good fit, or, you know, there's other nonprofit lenders in San Diego that I'm well connected with, or technical assistance groups. I mean, there's nonprofits that just help you with your credit. There's nonprofits that are only Spanish speaking technical groups. I mean, there's so many nonprofits. And so I always never straight decline them. I always send them somewhere. Yeah, and a lot of people come back because of that, because they, you know, either are able to go to a technical assistance place, or we see sometimes, you know, I send someone to Acción, they get a loan. then they come back in a year or two and they want to refinance and get more money.
Right. And what did Rosalena and Meredith, what happened with, I mean, you got 10,000 applications and you were only, you weren't able to make that many loans, obviously. So what happened to a lot of those folks?
So we actually did a second round of funding. The city used CARES Act money and allocated $13 million to doing additional grants. So we actually were able to assist another, I think it was about 1,600 businesses, 1,700 businesses. I'm not sure of the final numbers.
Yeah,
but we also had a lot of businesses. The same thing that I think Susan was saying is that, when case managers were reaching out to them after they applied to go, hey, we need some additional information from you in order to proceed. Some people just didn't respond. Some people were disqualified because the gross revenue was too high relative to the tiers that had been set. There were some tiers for amounts of revenue versus employee size. So some people just didn't qualify. We actually had a number of businesses that had put in multiple applications. And so we were allowing one per business owner. So some of those were also then disqualified from the process. But, I think there's still, San Diego Lenders also did San Diego Foundation also did a small grant program. So a number of applicants from underserved areas that qualified as like low mod income were actually assisted with grants through them, through the foundation. So yes, but I think they're still looking for other resources if possible to assist.
sure, yeah, there's not enough resources.
There isn't.
The statistics are terrible. The statistics, I mean, Small Business Majority just did a survey. 35% of the small businesses are not gonna, the people they surveyed, so I don't, are not gonna make it through the next 3 months. And 41% of African American and Latino businesses are gonna close. So does anybody else have it? Susan, you want to ask your questions about the fund? Does anybody have any, what do you guys want to ask of each other now that you have each other on the phone or in person? Not on the phone, in phone.
I think I would just say, because, Elizabeth, you and I spoke last week, and we had talked about the process of making the payments to the fund. And so I reached out to Eli, right? You know who he is. And he basically said, there's no Kiva portal or anything like that. I mean, it's really easy. We just do a wire transfer from us to the fund on a monthly basis, based on, we pay back 90% of the loan payments minus our servicing fee. So, okay. After our conversation, I got all scared. I'm like, oh my God, what's this Kiva portal that I'm supposed to?
Well, there is a Kiva portal that you have to, it's a format and you have to upload the format. So you have to have your system basically dump in, or somebody on your team dump in the data into their format, and then you have to upload that on a monthly basis to Kiva. And then you're right, the wires go back and forth, but it is a particular format and it has to be like in their format. So it is a little bit different than like other relationships that we've had in the past.
Yeah, but that's, I think, to get the money, right? So the money goes into one is they give us the money after we fund or before we fund, depending on what you decide. And then the other is we give, the lender gives them the loan payments back.
Yeah, so there's two formats. The pre-funding or the post-funding that you're talking about is done weekly, And that's the loans that you've approved and basically approved by the guarantee, and then you're putting them back up into the fund and you're drawing down your capital, right? That's a weekly report that has to happen.
It's actually it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right? You have the choice, right?
No, it's you don't have the choice. It's just every 2 weeks. They made that change.
You guys, I was thinking more like big picture stuff.
Oh, sorry. We're getting into.
That's okay. Yeah, I think we're going. I think we're like getting a little.
So I do have one little wonky question. Can I ask one little wonky question?
You can ask a question. And I want to see. Rosalena unmuted herself, so I want to give. I think she might.
Yes. I just have one little wonky question for Susan. You guys use Ventures, right? As your, how are you importing applications into that system? Do you, from the building fund, California
Rebuilding Fund? We're going to manage the applications in the Connect to Capital system.
I see.
And
okay.
Basically, Connect to Capital doesn't talk to Ventures. I mean, they don't interface, and so we're going to just manage them in. And then when we have a deal that we're going to actually move forward, we'll manually input it into Ventures.
And Susan, on our front, we're going to use an API.
Okay, because we got a huge quote.
Oh, you are? Okay. Yeah, we're not, because we're just not going to do that many deals.
And what
Susan, you're breaking up. Susan Brown is breaking up.
And which platform do you use, Elizabeth? I know my internet connection's unstable. I just wonder what platform Elizabeth uses. Can you,
we're actually going to take the statewide Connect to Capital, and we're going to use an API that's going to dump it into Salesforce, and then our Salesforce dumps it into our portfolio system once the loan's approved.
Okay, thank you.
Rosalena, you put yourself back on mute, but was there something that you wanted to ask the group since you had them at your disposal? There you go.
No questions. I just wanted to thank you, Heidi. I just wanted to say that, for example, with the applications, when they come in, if the candidates are not eligible for our loan funds, we also refer them to our partners. So Acción, CDC, and then the loans that we also have issued, they're also partnerships with them. So it's a network, definitely. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Is there someone missing in your partnership, or is there an element that's missing for people?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, for the cities?
For the city, for anybody, is there somebody that they want to partner with that they haven't, that you haven't been able to, or?
Well, for the city, we had through the San Diego Grant Makers, there was the matrix that was prepared, and we would consult who was offering what kind of loan. So it has served us as a reference. So if let's say CDC and Acción are not available, or the client does not qualify for their loans, we can actually refer them to these other organizations. So the network, at least for us, it has helped us.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for all that great information and what you're seeing in the market. I mean, you know, things have changed, it seems like, so much since February. Yeah, so with that, I think let's bring on some fun and some happy hour. We have Josh Korn, who's put his kombucha bambucha into that we could see that he is with us. Josh, are you there?
Okay.
Excellent.
Hello. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. Hi. Josh coming from his kitchen. Josh, we are, just to let you know, we're Cameo, we're a network of organizations like CDC, and we have a couple of our other lenders on, Acción, Elizabeth Schott from Acción, and some people from the city of San Diego, Rosa, Elena, and Meredith. And we are excited for you to make us ceviche. So I'm going to turn it over to Miriam, who's going to just let you kind of facilitate your introduction.
Sure, that would be great. Awesome. Nice. Thank you for having our team here.
Hi, Joshua.
Hi.
So Joshua came to me from a partner at a bank, and you know, he was wanting to get some working capital for his business. So, you know, we talked and worked through his application, and he went through the whole process with us, and we were able to get him a funded loan to grow his business. And he has his business name is Metrics. And yeah, Josh, I think that's all the introduction you need. Thank you for being an awesome client and for being willing to do this for us.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. So Joshua, nice to meet everybody. I'm the owner of Metrics and SIE Culinary Management Group. We've serviced meals to companies like BioLegend and Anduril Defense Systems. And through the SBA, we were able to raise about $200,000+ in a loan to help us grow the company. And we'll be operating at new tech companies like Rivian in Irvine. And then we hope to grow with Biomed Realty Group here in San Diego. So thank you very much for the SBA to help us grow and hire more people and employ more people in San Diego. Besides me, I'm standing with two of my partners. This is Chef Michael Zanfrilli, and he is the CEO, and this is Jason Ugolano.
Hello.
And Michael is the CEO of Bambucha Kombucha before you here in Vista, California. He's the founder and the original gangster of Booch, we call him. And I'll let him introduce himself in a second. And then Jason is our Chief Marketing Officer for the company as well. And together we all came up with the beautiful Booch that you see before us, both non-alcoholic and hard kombucha that we're soon to launch, which is why we're coming to the SBA for a loan for the company to launch hard kombucha very shortly within 2021.
For some reason, I get the specialty foods thing that I subscribed to once a long time ago. And they said it's a trend. Hard kombucha is the trend for 2021.
Yes, Whole Foods just put it on their list for hot trends in 2021. So that is a positive sign. And you know, you look at the craft beer world, there's hundreds of brands, and with hard kombucha, you can count them on two hands. So we're really excited to get into that market. We had a sales meeting today. People are getting out there. We've got the product in cans coming out in about a month. The can sales on the non-alcoholic have, quadrupled since COVID started. So unlike some other businesses, we're actually thriving through this time, and we are looking to to really grow in the next year.
What's the alcohol content on the hard kombucha?
We are doing a straight 6% ABV across the board, which is pretty middle of the road. You know, you see some brands at about 4.5 up to about 8, and we went right smack in the middle, 6%.
And Jason has been leading the forefront of our marketing program and outreach to look at our PR, our brand management, and driving culture for the business. So I think that, you know, why don't you feel free to share with the vision with the team. Yeah.
So when we started with the non-alcoholic, you know, this was back when we were able to do demos and other things that we can't do now, unfortunately. But you know, we've had 2 years to build the non-alcoholic brand. We've created some great brand equity, and the product's doing really well. So when we launch our hard kombucha, we're just going to continue with that brand consistency. We'll probably go through a refresh here. Again, we've gone through one already, but just to continue with the continuity and just adapt with our brand, we're just going to have a refresh and just continue the bright colors and just the nice feel and the brand equity that we've retained for several years now. So we're going to continue with traditional social media, improving our content. We want to continue to focus on the lifestyle and that demographic, whether it's yoga, active lifestyle with rock climbing, surfing. Those are all the targets for our product for both non-alcoholic and alcoholic. So we're looking forward to just continue with the content building, pushing that out through our different social channels, and just really building great quality content and helping.
I gotta say, Burning Man is a great it's a great thing for you guys for next year if it happens again.
That would be great. Yeah, we've done some.
Does anyone remember anything after Burning Man?
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure, but
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised.
Well, we were looking at doing Coachella, and we've done other events like Eat Drink Vegan, very large vegan festival up in Pasadena, and so we were starting to look at the Coachellas and some of those events, and then unfortunately we had set COVID. So yeah, that would be interesting to look at that, and with the hard conviction.
Well, you can't do Burning Man because it's non-commercial, but like people could bring it with that you want to pre-sell it to other people. How you keep sane in the desert, I'll be an ambassador.
Probiotics in the desert while you're drinking.
Where can we buy it?
So we're pretty well represented in the natural segment here in San Diego, Orange County, LA. We're at Lazy Acres, all the Jimbo stores. We are at the Erewhon stores in Santa Monica, LA, Hollywood, Fraser Farms, independent Sprouts throughout San Diego, and then cafes, Jensen's. Did I miss any? Cafes, restaurants, bars, you name it.
A lot of fast casual.
Yeah, we haven't gone conventional yet, so we're not at the Vons and the Albertsons. But we're really doing well in the natural segments and looking to expand. We're talking to Whole Foods currently and Sprouts Corporate to get throughout a larger portion of the region.
And what's really cool is that we're finding that from a distribution standpoint, if we were able to close this deal with Carl Strauss, we're looking for capital to finance the purchase orders that are coming through the door. We've been buying, we just bought a new unit tank, which is this giant stainless steel 30-barrel tank to make our product, and we're funding that. We're self-funding that. So that's cash that's coming out of the owner's pockets to do that, and exciting to do that. But in order to grow, we really need funding to finance the purchase orders, to buy more sugar, to hire more workforce. We're going to have to get more labor at the plant to put things in cans. It's not easy to put things in cans without the people, right? So that's the next step.
Come back to us. Go back to Miriam.
We are, believe me. Applications and handing in tax returns.
Good.
You can also, we also have our online store as well. The promotion that we set up for this, just a little sampling of four cans, but we also have that channel where consumers can buy 12 packs, a case of 12 online, and that's continuing to grow through this time as well. So
we're shipping that nationwide.
Yeah, absolutely. So if some of you didn't get a chance to taste the product, but we're going to leave that promotion link open for even after this meeting, that if you guys want to go on the website, that just click that link and we'll ship some product out to you guys to taste. And hopefully if you like what you see here, you make some of these recipes that's fun with Booch, So with that, do you guys want to start? Should we start making some food here and getting our drink on? I think so. Cool, awesome. So why don't we do this? Well, you want to do a little aerial shot, and we can show them some of the ingredients and go through. Did you guys get a chance to get the recipe? Hopefully you were able to get that out. I'm gonna borrow that recipe because I'm getting old these days.
Yeah, we got the recipe out. I'm actually making it tonight, so I'm watching you guys do it first.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I can't improvise, that means. Look at that. Okay, so basically what we've done, whoops.
There we go. Okay. All right.
So basically what we've done was we put an array of vegetables together here that are all listed in the recipe. You're gonna have onion, you're gonna have peppers, you're gonna have some This is actually lemongrass stalk. And what you're going to find is that Chef Michael's going to share with you that the Thai ginger kombucha. Why don't you talk about those ingredients that are found in there? We're also using them in the ceviche.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're gonna make a cocktail and a ceviche tonight. You know, our Thai ginger itself not only has the kombucha with all the beneficial acids and the live probiotics, but we've got kaffir lime leaf from an organic biodynamic farm in Fallbrook. We also get our lemongrass from them, cold pressed lime juice. Lots of whole root ginger. A lot of companies use ginger juice or ginger concentrates. We take whole roots of ginger, turmeric, depending on which recipe we're doing, and actually process everything in house. So, you know, when you go to we've had a restaurant down in San Diego, had a Thai ginger mule on the menu that we'll make for you tonight. And instead of having to put all those ingredients into a vessel and muddle it all together, it's all in the can. Little rocks, a little bit of your spirit, and our Thai ginger, and you're getting all those great ingredients in there with one easy pour. So, you know, we love the fact that we're coming out with the hard kombucha, but we also love that, you know, all of our drinks make great mixers, ready to go, bubbly, certified organic, natural ingredients.
So what we're going to do is we're going to trade off. While we're doing certain things, we're going to switch back and forth. I'm going to start with marinating the fish, because the fish is going to take a little bit of time to marinate for the ceviche. What we're using tonight is I actually have some poached off lobster ahead of time. So we have a nice little lobster tail. We have some shrimp, and I've diced the shrimp up. We poached it off. You want to cook the shellfish, you want to cook 100% through, even if you're going to do a ceviche, because you don't want to risk the bacteria that's found in any of these shellfish. With a regular fish like a snapper, I'm going to actually ask for the snapper from the fridge. You want to keep these cold, below 41 degrees. And then we have diced up some beautiful Pacific Baja snapper here, very fresh. You could actually see that at the freshness by looking at the fish. It's translucent in color, and it has a wonderful ocean smell to it. It should smell like a high briny, clean, fresh fish, and that's what you're looking for. So in order to cook this, we're using a sigillation. We're using an acid like a lime or a lemon, right? And we're going to actually, we're going to marinate this for about a good 10 to 15 minutes before we eat it so that it cooks through. So why don't you, I'm going to get started with that. I'm going to start putting some of that into the bowl. I'm actually going to start with, I'm going to actually start by smashing a piece of garlic here. We have it cleaned. So just take the back of a knife and smash all the way down. We wear gloves because we're feeding other people tonight, and it is health and safety. So we're just going to lightly run the knife through that and then get that into a bowl. We're going to add in some of our other key ingredients to make the marinade. So we have demerara sugar here. This is a turbinado sugar, or jaggery if you're from the East Indian Trading Company area. So we're going to take about a teaspoon of the jaggery. I got the yeah, about a tablespoon. I apologize. About a tablespoon of the jaggery.
And that sugar is just going to balance out the acid from the lime juice and just make it all balanced, right? Which is what we shoot for with our kombucha, is just perfect balance in our flavors, ingredients.
100%. And then we're going to take a small little bit of salt in there. So it's about a half a teaspoon of the salt. We're going to mix that in there as well. I'm going to add in some pepper over here. We have some pepper. Just a little wee pinch of pepper. Yes. Oh, sorry, that's my Julia Child.
Fresh ground.
Fresh ground, always.
Yeah, don't buy the pre-ground stuff.
Yeah, not good.
Don't do it.
And try not to use black pepper. Always use white pepper.
I disagree with that. We've been arguing about this for about 10 years now. I'm a black pepper guy. He's a white pepper guy. So, you know.
you notice who won today. We got black pepper on the show. Right? So we're going to add in, and then we're going to add the lime juice in here. And we're going to let that just kind of mix in. What the lime juice is going to do, it's going to just gently dissolve the sugar. The acid is going to break down the garlic that's found in there. And I'm going to start adding in some of my other aromatics to this. So other aromatics that we're going to find is a little bit of, we have some, and I'm going a little off recipe, so don't shoot me, but I like mirin. So it's a little bit of Japanese rice wine vinegar. We're going to add about a tablespoon of that mirin into it. We're going to add in a little bit of aji mirin, which is another one, so about a half tablespoon of that. And then Thai fish sauce on nam pla, which also provides a lot of salt. And we're going to add about a tablespoon of that fish sauce in there.
It brings in all that umami, huh?
Earthy,
That mysterious fifth flavor.
I love it. And then tahine, which is another type of a Mexican style salt. It has a little bit, unfortunately, tahine, if you hadn't know, it has a MSG in it. Don't tell anybody. But if you could find naturally occurring MSG in like red kelp or red seaweed from sprouts, really, really nice. Or kombu. Kombu is another type of a seaweed, and you'll find naturally occurring MSG in those ingredients. This gives it a little bit of a kick. So we're just going to add a little bit of heat to that.
The MSG thing is a scam. The guy who wrote the study it was on This American Life this past week.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know it was a scam. I've been doing a lot of research lately, and I find that we try to keep as much natural or non-processed foods in the house. I switched to almost 100% organic when I buy foods for the family because I'm a cancer survivor. So I've changed my way my diet, and I changed the way I eat. So we really try to like keep it healthy, light, fresh, and less pesticides or whatever the story is. But everybody to each their own. To each their own. Whatever works for you, right? So every family has different needs. So we're going to let this kind of just come together really nicely and marinate. And I'm going to start with the fish. I'm going to put the raw fish in there. We're going to put all of it in there. Just dump that in. We're going to mix it around with a spoon. And you can see that it'll begin to turn white almost immediately because
it starts to get opaque, right?
Yep, because the acid.
Translucent. Yep.
Yep, and that's going to just work its magic. And we'll let that just hang out and marinate for a little bit. While that's marinating, Chef, you want to maybe start on your
yeah, sure. Fortunately, my demo doesn't take long because all the work has been done ahead of time. But I think one of our best pairings for a cocktail is making up we call it the Thai Ginger Mule. You've probably seen ginger beers on the shelf, and this is a great product. It's super premium, but it's all sugar, and there's no functionality to it. With our Thai ginger kombucha, just the nature of kombucha, we do use sugar to create the fermentation, but the culture consumes most of the sugar and creates those beneficial acids and the live probiotics. So instead of just, drinking sugar, or God forbid if you buy, just a ginger ale or a cheaper ginger beer, you're looking at corn syrup and maybe some natural flavor, right? So again, a great product, but it's not going to do anything good for you. Our Thai ginger, again, has whole root ginger, cold pressed lime juice, kaffir lime leaf, lemongrass. Can you imagine a mixologist out there in the industry trying to make this cocktail? Well, they don't. It's a lot easier to take some rocks, and then you got to have the copper mug for a mule.
Luckily, we're in the restaurant industry, so we got all the tricks of the trade.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this is this restaurant downtown. It was, I think, their #1 cocktail for a while there. They had our kombucha on tap, and they were just mixing it up. So
I have a question. How did that become the mule cup? You know what I'm saying? That's in every restaurant in the U.S. It's like, when and where and how did that become the mule?
What a stumper! Do you have an answer for that?
I actually do.
Okay.
So
I don't.
So where did if you remember back in the Russia? So I actually learned this from my grandfather. In Russia, they had certain types of tin cups, but they had an abundance of copper. And what they found that was it kept the potato juice, real vodka, colder, and it actually kept it lasting a little bit longer without oxidizing, because the copper has an enzymatic reaction with the vodka, the potato juice, at that time, and it stops it from going brown. It actually keeps it clear. So back in the 1800s, they used to mold it into a cup, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, leave it to the Russians to figure out how to keep that vodka cold,
Right.
So Josh has supplied us with a little bit of a Grey Goose tonight, but I'm a Smirnoff guy. I'm frugal, and I've taste tested everything. I'm a Smirnoff guy, but Grey Goose, if you're feeling a little extravagant, fancy lovely, so we'll do a good shot of that. You know what? Let's make that a double, shall we?
Yes, we should. Yes, darling. Excellent, Snoopy.
Taste. So easy. Spear it in. Okay. I'm going to do just a good squeeze of lime. We have lime juice in the Thai ginger, but it's going to brighten it up to balance out that vodka a little bit. Okay. And remember, it's one product, but we've got, again, the kombucha, the lime juice, the ginger, kaffir lime leaf, lemongrass. Boom. A little stir, garnish, little stalk of lemongrass, and you got a pretty sexy looking cocktail there.
Num nums.
What do you think?
How does it taste?
I'm gonna make it right along with you.
Super easy. Cheers.
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 Cheers, boys.
Yeah, this is terrible. I'm on a cleanse, no alcohol right now. This is horrible to watch you guys.
Oh no.
It looks delicious.
With that as the mixer, you're getting a little bit of sugar. We've got 6 grams for the can. So, you're looking at about, less than a gram per ounce. And with that little bit of organic cane, you are getting the beneficial acids, the live probiotics, and it's just a healthier for you soda, a healthier for you mixer. It's just a great, I fell in love with it. I started making kombucha on an organic farm in Southern Oregon. Back when I got out of college, I was living at this farm in Oregon, and we had this crazy concoction going on that the old hippies showed me. And this was before the first kombucha ever even hit the shelf. And it took years for me to, I kind of forgot about it for a while, and then I tasted a GT's kombucha you might be familiar with, and it blew me away. So I was like, wow, this is the stuff we used to make on the farm. And I started making it again at home, and I fell in love. I found my product, and I just wanted to share it with everyone. Josh, how many times did I make you drink my reiterations of kombucha?
Oh my goodness, there was over probably like 500 recipes.
And I used to teach culinary school, and I told my students, hey, in my next life, I just want to make one thing. I want to make it perfect, and I want to sell it.
Yep.
And then I realized I wasn't dead yet. And so 4 years later, we've got a pretty great brand, and just growing every day.
One thing to add too, sorry, I'm behind the camera here. This is Jason. One of the things that we've done is, we have it right on our label too, that we're chef crafted, and it really shows because our flavors are really, what we've done is we made them pretty mainstream for to the mainstream palate. We've made them appeal to the mainstream palate. A lot of kombuchas have a very, vinegary type taste. And so what we've done is, ours are very fruit forward, have a lot of flavor, and it really comes out in the kombucha. And so that's what we've also carried through to the hard kombucha. A lot of the other hard kombuchas, while they have their place in the market, you definitely can taste the burn in some cases, the alcohol. So a lot are diluted with, I would say, the flavor. They're still good and they appeal to a lot of people, but the one area that we found that people really, what people really like about ours is the flavor is, you really can taste the ginger. You can really taste the lime, all of the different flavors that make up our product, the blueberry tart kombucha, the blueberry, vanilla, almond, and so with the hard kombucha, that really comes through and makes them very drinkable, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. If you're, you got to be careful.
Comment. Oh, it doesn't even taste like there's alcohol in there.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they fall down the stairs. That's a good thing. So we're just cutting up some in the chef world. We do a lot of knife cuts to make things look beautiful. So I've cut up all of our peppers have been diced up, and they're all really fine. As you can see, we have an onion. I sliced up a scallion. I have some mango. These are called brunoise in French culinary cooking, and then a little bit of a brunoise on the actual avocado. So I've pre-mixed, and I'll show you all of this stuff in about a second. And I mix it in with the fish. This recipe is almost done here. So I'm gonna just take all of that.
Nice technique there on the.
You like that? Yeah. It keeps the cutting board clean, so you don't make a mess when you're on TV. And then the last thing we'll end up doing is do some garnishing real quick. So the fish should be done by now. We've cut it up small enough that you can see it's changed color. And that's really what you're looking for, okay? So it was about 10, maybe 15 minutes max sitting in there. I've marinated, I've added some of the lemongrass in there just to give it some flavor. I've added in some cilantro or coriander leaves. I'm gonna discard those now because I'm not gonna need them. And we're not gonna wanna eat that.
Can I ask a question about the lemongrass stock? Just by marinating it, it's enough to get it the flavor?
Yeah, he gave it a little smash, which
Oh, okay.
all the stuff in there. Yeah, lemongrass is funny because it tastes great and it adds a nice aroma, but especially when raw, it is truly a stock, and it's a little bit too fibrous to consume unless it's minced incredibly fine or softened through cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do at this point is, doctor. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to actually add in my shrimp that's been cut up to the marinade, and then I'm going to add in my lobster into that as well. So we have a nice little array, and we're feeding like 1 or 2 of us here, so that's probably a lot of food for now. We're big dudes. We could probably chat on all this. And then
I gotta add, when you poach shrimp or lobster, you really want to take a gentle hand with it. What I do is it's called a court bouillon, which is a fancy French term for a flavorful liquid made for poaching. You know, a court bouillon could be as simple as water, a squeeze of lemon, a little bit of cracked black pepper, maybe a little chili flake, pinch of salt. You make this flavorful liquid, but what I do is I bring it to a simmer. I get the flavoring ingredients into the liquid, and I'll literally turn it off and put my delicate shellfish in. So you're not ever boiling. When you boil it, you're gonna toughen it up. You really wanna you wanna have it at that temperature where it's very, very gentle, almost sub-simmer. And it'll cook through just fine without toughening your tender ingredients.
It's the poaching thing, right, Jacques? We want to make sure we're poaching. Sorry. So to this mixture, we're going to, now all the seafood is all in together. It's looking really, really nice. We're going to just check the consistency of the fish one. It's like this. I just want to see the actual liquid and make sure it's nice and balanced. So a little bit of a taste. Give it a smell. That's beautiful. It's perfectly balanced with the salt, the pepper, the spice,
sugar, a little bit, right?
Yeah, and the acid. The only thing that's missing is fat. So we're gonna actually add in the oil at the end to kind of make the mouthfeel really come together. So now that we've got all of the fish in there and it's marinated, I'm actually gonna add in all of the aromatic ingredients and the colors to this dish. So we're gonna dump it all in there. The chopped up cilantro, the peppers, the confetti of green, red, and yellow, and peppers in there.
Nice knife cuts.
You like that? They're not bad, right? This is what you do it for, 18, 20 years doing this.
Acceptable.
Not bad, acceptable. So beautiful knife cuts make everything look pretty, right? So that makes a really, really nice confetti. And then what we're just gonna do is we're gonna fold and mix this stuff together. And that's what makes the ceviche come alive. All these beautiful aromatics in there. It tastes just like chicken.
Better than chicken.
Better than chicken. Bowling, it tastes like chicken. Okay. So the ginger's in there. We grated some ginger. We got the mango in there. You could use either the Alfonso mango or you could use the Mexican style mango. It doesn't matter, whatever makes you happy. We have the cucumber that's in there. We have the cilantro that's in there. We're going to do some garnish and some sexy scallions. The last thing we're going to add is the kombucha and the oils, right, or the fats, we'll call them. So in the meantime, how to do some sexy scallions, right? On the bias cut, right? Let's go like this. Always hold the knife, and when you're doing this, always look down, because you never ever want to pick your eyes up from the cutting board, and you always want to watch what you're doing, okay, as you're cutting, because if you don't watch what you're doing, you could potentially cut your fingers, right? And that's a thing. You don't want to do that. Nobody's laughing. Okay, so all right.
We're all laughing. We're just all muted.
Okay. So once you do that, you'll have these beautiful Asian style bias cuts, right? And it'll add a lot of eye appeal to the garnish, and it's going to create a lot of drama. And that's what you want to, with culinary, you want to create drama and excitement. And that's why people go out to restaurants. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add that to the side dish over here. Thank you, Chef. That's your little piggy there. Okay. And we're going to do a couple more things. We're going to add a couple more garnishes because I like the French cooking. Yeah. Yeah. I miss one. Okay. And these are just classic Fresno peppers, right? That'll add a nice little garnish to that as well. And then we have some radishes. And with the radishes, you could, just some sea salt is always nice with those. But we're going to do some juliennes, nice and thin, just like they tell you back in New York, yeah? Little round surface, yeah? You could use a Japanese mandolin if you want. If you feel comfortable with a knife, you could use a knife, right? Some people do that. And then just some nice, juliennes, right? And if you're left-handed like me, it's great. But you know what? If you're right-handed, you could do it that way as well. So just whatever works for you, just always look down, never, ever, ever look up, right? It's a thing. Okay. Fun to show. All right. Boom. So we have nice little sexy radish garnishes. Okay, very simple stuff here. All righty, now let's actually compose the dish because everybody's hungry. Okay, and this dish has had enough time to marinate and look really, really lovely. Okay, so I'm just gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna add in the kombucha. May I still some like a couple tablespoons of your Thai ginger and a little bit of the sesame oil. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of that sesame oil to that, just for some fat. But
it's gonna give it shine too, right?
It's gonna give it some shine, some luster. Sesame oil is all about the aromatics. Beautiful little booch. I use I cheat. I use an expensive olive oil. It's really, really nice. It's got a little peppery flavor to that, and about a tablespoon or two for this particular recipe. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix all of this together.
Ooh, you really smell that sesame oil.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Just a little bit of sesame oil, right? You did like about a half.
Because
it is strong.
You don't need a lot because it's you just need enough fat because these are white fishes and these are very light ingredients. You just need a little bit of fat to bring it all together, right? And then that's that. So I'm gonna give it a quick little taste with this spoon. I'm gonna go like this. It's cool. That bomb.
Ready? Salt, pepper, good.
No, good. No need salt, pepper, or anything. So, little martini glass or whatever you got there. I'm going to load it up into the glass. This is great for a cocktail party. It's great for summertime if it's nice and warm. And just don't be afraid to load that up in there. Boom, 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 boom.
That's awesome. It's making me hungry.
Josh, can you is there a danger of over marinating it?
Yes. So some chefs will say, maximum of 3 to 4 hours, but I like to say with ceviche, 2 hours tops, because what happens with certain types of fish, the acid breaks it down so much that it gets tough. Yeah. When I was I worked at La Bernardin in New York City, we learned that applying certain types of heat in the sigillation is going to actually increase like a flaky flesh, white flesh, thin fish, quick. Heavier fish that you find in the Pacific, like the blue-nosed bass, a lot longer. Chilean sea bass, Patagonian toothfish, a lot longer, right?
Fattier fish.
Fattier fish.
A little bit longer. Yeah.
Exactly. So because we're modern and we're tweezer cooking these days, we're going to start with a little bit of garnish here, okay? And then we're going to go like this and use colors, right? Color is very nice. Don't do it twice. And then boom, boom, boom. Shake it, don't break it. And then maybe some sesame seeds. You got any sesame seeds? What kind of kitchen is this? We don't got sesame seeds in this house. But you know what we do have? We're going to come back from Hawaii, right?
And I got to say, Josh loves all these ingredients. They're great. You can certainly simplify a little bit if you don't have, 2 kinds of mirin.
That's right. And if you don't
certainly okay.
If you don't have Japanese black salt from when you went to your Hawaii trip, I miss Kauai. A little bit of sea salt on top, and that's really, really nice. A little garnish of the And voila.
Beautiful.
Okay, beautiful. Very nice.
And your homemade wontons? Gotta talk about those.
Something to eat it with, yeah.
We need some chips. You gotta have some wonton chips. Okay. L'chaim.
L'chaim. You guys, a couple of our staff members have gone, and I just want to express why we do this work. And you're the reasons why we do this work is to see, companies start, grow, and employ other people, and be a community provider. And so they left. Just wanted to know you guys to know that we totally appreciate you, and this was just beautiful. We're all here still, but this.
Well, yeah, no, and I mean, I really want to congratulate you for the effort, and it's been great to watch you making such a delicious plate. I'm dying to eat it. Thank you so much for sharing with us your expertise.
We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to doing business with the SBA and the CDC and getting funding.
Yeah. This is never mind. We're going to stop recording now.